Australia, where you can see kangaroos kicking like in action movies, rabbits becoming the final boss of nature, and people going to the beach without clothes. Sounds a little out there, right? But that's just a small part of the strange and interesting things waiting for you to discover. Are you ready? Please click follow, sit comfortably, and join me in the surprising world of this country. 1. Kangaroos are the face of Australia. You can see them on the national emblem and currency here. Kangaroos are not only cute, but also very aggressive. The red kangaroo can be nearly 3 meters long and weigh nearly 80 kilograms, a true gym person. These kangaroos are masters of survival in harsh environments. They can withstand drought well, and some species can even drink seawater. Their powerful hind legs help them jump up to 9 meters at speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour. The long tail is not just for show. It is like a fifth leg that helps kangaroos maintain super balance when they are rocketing. Kangaroos usually live in groups with a dominant male in control. During mating season, the males are not afraid to show off their boxing skills to compete for mating rights with the females. The most magical thing about kangaroos is the pouch in front of their stomachs, an ideal home for baby kangaroos for about 9 months from birth until they are strong. Although they seem cute, kangaroos are so crowded that the Australian government has a headache. Currently, Australia has about 36.5 million, which means the kangaroo population is 1.5 times the number of people. With the habit of grazing and moving everywhere, they damage vegetation and affect the ecosystem. This not only causes difficulties for plants, but also creates pressure to compete for food with native species and livestock in dry climates. Kangaroos even invade urban areas, obstructing traffic, destroying golf courses and attacking players. These actions have caused significant economic damage to many businesses. Therefore, the Australian government has to set an annual hunting quota to balance the ecosystem. Although kangaroo meat is high in protein and low in fat, Australians rarely consume it for ethical reasons. The animal is a national symbol. Instead, kangaroo meat is mainly exported to more than 55 countries, with Russia being the largest market. But the export industry has faced major challenges, such as Russia's 2009 import ban due to E. coli contamination. If you ever find yourself in Australia and see a kangaroo peeping at you, be careful. They're not just good at jumping, they can also box. Kangaroo fights between males are violent and involve MMA-like techniques involving punching, kicking, and grappling. A single kick from a kangaroo can cause serious damage. However, kangaroos are herbivores, and if you leave them alone, they're unlikely to attack humans. 2. Nude beach. With nearly 20,000 kilometers of coastline, Australia has many beautiful beaches. If you spent every day visiting a different beach, it would take you 27 years to visit all of Australia's beaches. Since 1975, Maslin Beach in Adelaide has been the first legally recognized nude beach, which has paved the way for other nude beaches. Notably, in November 2022, about 2,500 people gathered at Bondi Beach to participate in a group nude photo shoot. The event was to raise awareness of skin cancer, a serious health problem in a country with a high UV index like Australia. Following this series of activities, in March 2023, the Sydney Skinny Nude Swimming event returned after a 3-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Held at Cobbler Beach in Sydney, the event attracted about 1,300 participants, with the aim of encouraging people to appreciate their bodies and raise health awareness. However, not all of Australia's nudist beaches have been running smoothly. Tayagara Beach, famous for its nude beach, is facing closure after complaints of inappropriate behavior and safety concerns led the local council to consider banning nudity. 3. Capital of Australia. People often mistake Sydney or Melbourne for the capital of Australia, and honestly, it's not their fault. Sydney has the iconic Opera House and that stunning harbour bridge, while Melbourne is a hub for arts, culture, and some of the best coffee you'll ever drink. So naturally, people assume one of these two famous cities must be the capital. But nope, the real capital of Australia is Canberra, and the story behind it is as diplomatic as it gets. Back in the late 19th century, Sydney and Melbourne were locked in a heated rivalry over who deserved to be the capital. The government, clearly over the drama, decided to compromise. They built a brand new city halfway between the two. Enter Canberra, the middle child of Australian cities. Not as flashy, not as popular, but super important. The funny thing is, despite being the country's political hub, Canberra flies under the radar. Tourists flock to Sydney for selfies by the Opera House or to Melbourne for its trendy vibes, leaving Canberra feeling a bit overlooked. So when someone says, "Wait, isn't Sydney the capital?" you can almost hear Canberra collectively groan like, "Seriously guys, we've been here this whole time." So next time you chat with someone about Australia, share this little trivia gem about Canberra. And hey, maybe remind them to visit the capital. It might not have Sydney's beaches or Melbourne's laneway bars, but Canberra's got charm, and, well, at least it won't feel so lonely. 4. Cockroach racing. When traveling to Australia's third largest city, Brisbane, you will be amused or horrified by the strange festival cockroach racing. People will bring their pet cockroaches and compete as a modern sport. This traditional event is associated with an interesting story in 1982, which was also the first year this event was held under the name Soft Cocky. At that time, the suburbs along the Brisbane River were famous for the terrible infestation of cockroaches. Some cockroaches were also found here that were larger than normal. Therefore, an argument broke out between families about which house had the stronger cockroach. Said and done, each person brought a cockroach from their house to the pub, then decided to let them race each other. And from there, this interesting and somewhat scary tradition was born. Number 5. Skin cancer. Australia has one of the highest UV levels in the world, especially in summer, making the risk of skin cancer among the highest in the world. However, sunbathing is a popular culture, especially on famous beaches such as Bondi and the Gold Coast, where people love to enjoy the warm sunshine. A worrying fact is that many young Australians often do not believe that sun exposure can cause skin cancer, leading to neglecting to protect their skin. To reduce the risk, sunscreen products are widely used in Australia, with large bottles of sunscreen up to a litre, something not often seen in other countries. The Australian government has also actively promoted the Slip, Slop, Slap campaign, wear a shirt, apply cream, wear a hat, to raise awareness about protecting skin from the harmful effects of UV rays. Number 6. Abandoned land. Australia is a country in the southern hemisphere and the only country to occupy an entire continent. At 7.74 million square kilometers, Australia is the world's 6th largest country by land area, but has a tiny population of just 26 million. Compare that to India, a country less than half the size of Australia, but 57 times as large. About 90% of Australians live in urban areas, which occupy less than 0.3% of the country's land area. The East Pilbara district in Western Australia is the size of Japan, but has just over 10,000 people, half of whom live in Newman. Anna Creek is not a country or even a government organization, but the world's largest privately owned cattle station. At 23,677 square kilometers, Anna Creek is larger than Israel but employs just 8 full-time workers to care for around 10,000 cows. So why leave the land untouched? Despite being surrounded by ocean, Australia is experiencing desertification near its center, west and southeastern edges. About 40% of the continent has been severely altered by overuse and deforestation since European settlement. Geologically and geographically, Australia is close to Antarctica, which is frozen year-round. The west is constantly buffeted by cold ocean currents from the vast Southern Ocean. Across Australia's vast interior stretching west, high mountain ranges block many rain-bearing clouds from the Pacific from moving further into Australia. A significant portion of northern Australia lies in the tropics, meaning that few of the continent's high mountains are actually capable of pushing air up, where it can cool and turn into rain. So it's no surprise that some of the worst bushfires in Australia's history have occurred. When you look at the map of average annual rainfall in Australia, you can see that most of the continent's rainfall falls on the east coast. As a result, the arid climate gradually formed deserts that exist on about 35% of Australia's total area. In addition, although the country has a number of large rivers, their distribution is uneven. The rivers are concentrated in the east of the continent, while the completely desertified west has no rivers, so the weather here is very harsh, with droughts occurring all year round. 7. Rabbit disaster. The story of rabbits in Australia might make you think that one day these adorable long-eared creatures will become the rulers of the world. In 1859, a man named Thomas Austin received 24 wild rabbits from his brother sent from England for the purpose of hunting for fun. No one expected that this decision would create a terrible biological invasion. Yes, these wild rabbits have no natural enemies in Australia and are monstrous in their reproductive capacity. Each year, a rabbit can give birth to 3 to 4 litters, each containing 6 to 12 babies. A few decades later, the rabbit population had skyrocketed to 200 million, not a small rabbit colony, but a mighty army. In 1865, Austin shared with local newspapers that he had killed 20,000 rabbits at his home. Despite several rabbit introductions to Australia, research has shown that today's rabbits share the same genetic makeup as Austin's. With such a large population, wild rabbits have become professional destroyers. They gnaw at trees, destroy crops, and gradually drive native animals into starvation. The sight of rabbits running rampant has eroded the land, rendered it infertile, and destroyed habitats. The Australian government has had to take drastic measures, such as building the world's longest rabbit fence to prevent them from destroying farmland. But rabbits are no pushovers. They are also very stubborn and know how to survive in any form. The government has even had to resort to epidemic viruses such as myxomatosis and calicivirus to control the rabbit population. However, the battle is not over yet. 8. Lake Hillier. Lake Hillier was first discovered in 1802 by British explorer Matthew Flinders aboard the HMS Investigator. In his diary, Matthew noted that he was surprised to see a small lake the color of roses. He decided to name the lake Hillier after a recently deceased crew member, William Hillier, who had died of dysentery upon landing on the island. Lake Hillier is located near the coast of Middle Island in the Recherche Archipelago in the south of Western Australia. The exact cause of Lake Hillier's distinctive strawberry milk color and bubbly appearance is unknown. Most scientists agree that it may be related to the presence of a specific species of microalgae called Dunaliella salina. These salt-loving photosynthetic microorganisms produce energy using other parts of the visible light spectrum, except for the orange-red frequencies. Dunaliella salina can tolerate very high salt concentrations, ranging from 0.2% to 35%. According to the official website of Lake Hillier, swimming in the lake is completely safe. Despite its unusual color, the water is clear and will not harm your health or your skin. However, tourists do not often visit Lake Hillier from land, as the lake is best viewed from the highest point, where its vivid pink color contrasts with the surrounding forests and the Indian Ocean. Occasionally, visitors can be dropped off in the middle of the island from helicopters and cruise ships, but these tend to view the lake from the shore. So there you have it, a tour of Australia, the land of kangaroo boxing, badass rabbits, and fearless beaches. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what surprised you the most about this trip. Now I have to go get ready for the beach. No, I have to get ready for the next video. See you soon. Bye.